Okay, so today we got some eggs, and you guys have been asking all these questions about after they're out of the egg. Like, do they have cuts? No, they don't have cuts. We've cut thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of eggs, maybe not 100,000. I think I did the math, maybe 50,000, and so far no cuts. And snakes, when they're in the eggs, they need to be let out. And the reason why, so out of this many eggs, these are ball pythons. They don't have as many eggs, so the probability of having one drown in this many is low compared to a clutch of reticulated python eggs. A reticulated python clutch may have 50 to 80 eggs, and out of that 50 or 80 eggs, it's really common to have 1 to 2 drown in the egg. I'm not into that. Maybe you guys are, so when you breed your retics, you're willing to do you can let nature take its course, let them all die. It's just not my deal. This is my deal, and my deal is I want every single baby to survive that I possibly can. So that brings up the next subject. Why are we taking away the snakes from the eggs? So this one's been on the eggs for the day, and they're already slightly dried out. Now these are ball pythons, so they're already showing a little bit of signs of dehydration, dry, but it ain't gonna hurt them. This is bark. We keep it moist. We spray it about 3 days a week. And I'm gonna take this clutch of these here. Oh, look at that. There's one infertile egg in the bottom. So I'm gonna take this clutch here. She didn't even attack me. Ball pythons are naturally one of the best pet snakes there are, for beginners especially. The retics are not necessarily for beginners. So there's an infertile egg. Look how small it is compared to those. So I'm gonna put this, she's giving me the funny look. So I'm gonna put this down in here, and we're gonna basically put this in an incubator. The reason why we put them in an incubator is because if we put this in a nice sealed box with proper humidity and fully controlled electronically, this is going to do a better job than a snake can do. Now, a lot of people think the wild is so tame. Well, the wild is not tame. So even those big retics that lay 60 to 80 eggs at a time, it's not uncommon for them to not even have but 1 or 2 babies survive. Even rare, to be completely honest, it's more common that the entire clutch never makes it to adulthood than it is to have even 1 or 2 babies survive to adulthood. So, you guys asked, look at this, she's thinking about chewing on me, which, believe it or not, even though ball pythons are really tame, they're the motherly instinct going on here. So look at this, you guys. So we have some fun little patterns we're gonna look at. So I don't know, but there's all kinds of fun. Look at that. There's a fish right there, a fish right there. This one had a lot of weird patterns. I don't even know if I can find them all under the gun. I should have looked beforehand. But it's actually, one time I had a snake that perfectly said J-A-Y as clear as the bell. Nobody would ever question it. See, this one has the Y. Why is Jay talking about the pattern? So all these snakes are very diverse. So all these snakes have a similar father, but these all have hidden genes. The hidden genes are genes that are called recessive. Recessive genes basically mean that 2 snakes have to have the recessive gene in order to make the babies actually visually see it. So this is a snake that every baby would be normal if we bred it to anything but another albino that is of the same line. This is what you call a platinum, and so this snake here will actually 50% of the babies will come out like this on the first time around. So there's still 1 more infertile egg, and there's 3 perfect eggs. So now the idea of these eggs is, like I said, these are gonna take, I don't know if I made them, did I make a mistake earlier? These are ball pythons, gonna take 56 days to hatch. Unlike reticulated pythons that take 83 to 86 days. And then African rocks actually take 90 days. So each snake there's so much diversity, it's pretty amazing. We just talked about 2 different continents. We talked about 3 different, we got Africa, which ball pythons are 54 days, but yet the African rock pythons that are found side by side with these are actually not 54 days. They're actually one of the longest ones, up to 100 days. And the reticulated pythons are in the highest for the Malaysian type things. But when you get into actually some of the other kinds of snakes, like the monitors, it even takes longer. So it's not uncommon for any eggs to take up to maybe 6 months, 10 months. It just depends on what type of reptile it is. But the diversity is incredible. So these are all different colors, and the diversity of these are what they call morphs. And so all these are different genes. They're all carrying something different. I don't even know what that one is. It looks like a Mojave, but I know it isn't a Mojave because we didn't have any Mojave gene in this stuff. But all these snakes are different. You can guess why they got their name ball python. So I just want to know if you guys had any crazy questions that I missed, because it seems like no matter, I love your comments, and I'll tell you, everybody you tag really helps a lot. And I love all the comments. I don't even mind the negative comments, to ask good questions, because you know what? It gives me an opportunity to teach everybody. So sometimes reading through the comments is much fun as making a comment. But making the comments is what actually is needed to make the page do well. And you guys are rocking it out. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the followers. And we're going to really push YouTube really hard. And we're going to make this stuff happen. So there are the babies that we talked about, showing some update out of the eggs. And let's see. I think tomorrow I'm going to be posting another really cool video. It might be a couple days, because it depends on how it gets seen and when I post the next one. But if you have your post notifications on, we're going to make it all happen. And there you go, guys. 2 ball pythons with their babies, the eggs stuck in the incubator, to try to get every baby to hatch and try to keep the success rate as high as possible, to stay away from that wild number of wild snakes that don't do very well, because the wild is a very dangerous place. If you don't think so, try spending the night in Africa. You'll be peeing your pants 5 minutes into the roars that the lions make every night, or the hyenas, or the wild pack of dogs, or any of the other crazy animals that, you know, or stepping on a venomous snake or whatever. Because the wild, trust me, is a very unique place. And I sometimes think we forget that we think of our pets as like they're getting somehow not being taken care of. Your dog gets a nice place to live, a nice place to eat, and he doesn't get chased by other animals. Likewise, these snakes are getting an opportunity to live, where if they were actually born in the wild, they would actually have way less of an opportunity to survive. It may be natural, and natural I'm not saying is a bad thing, it's just a tough thing. Anyway, take care, guys. Have an awesome day. We'll see you soon.